All right, heading into the weekend. We also get to your questions as well. That's what we do. And by the way, if you do want to text in a question for Mark, we may use it on a future Feel Good Friday. Text it in at 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900. A question about the law and related topics. One of the ones that we talk about is real estate quite a bit. We get into that. Certainly a hot topic around here. And Mark, this question comes in. Mark, big fan of Feel Good Friday. I've been listening to you during the last couple of weeks. You've been talking about selling your house. I'd like to know, what can I expect for associated costs when selling my house?
Great question. And thank you for the kind words about Feel Good Friday. The costs associated with selling your house, and a lot of people are talking about this. We've been talking about this for multiple weeks because it's such an amazing time to be selling your house. But the number one cost associated with selling your house is paying off your mortgage, right? So you want to have a really good understanding about what your mortgage balance is. We talk about the principal balance of your mortgage versus what the actual payoff is. Folks often ask us, why is my payoff higher than what it says online? And that's because mortgages are paid in arrears, right? So interest is accruing every day. So if you're closing on the 29th or 30th of a month, well, your principal balance is as of the first plus interest for that whole month. And a lot of people ask about the escrows as well. What happens with that? Do they net them out? Typically not. Typically what happens is your payoff is paid in full, and then about 30 days later, you get a check in the mail from your mortgage servicing company for what was left in your escrows. Then, of course, Rob, the next big one is if you choose to do so, and not a lot of people are choosing to do so these days because the market is so hot, but the honey-do list. What needs to be done in the house? Do you need to paint it? Do you need to fix some windows, fix some siding, what have you? That's up to you. That cost is associated with you. Now, here on the South Shore, a lot of homes are on private sewer systems, septic systems, if you will. If you want to be proactive, you want to get that tested right away. The test associated with that is typically between $500 and $1,000 to determine whether or not your system passes. And once you test it, those results are good for 2 years, 3 years if you can prove out that you've pumped it every year. But that's something you want to do early before you find out that it's failed, because failed septic systems, and it is up to the seller to have a compliant septic system, could cost anywhere between $15,000 and $40,000 depending on the system and the environment that your property is. Do you have a condo? You're going to want to deliver to the seller, or you are the seller, you're going to want to deliver to the buyer all of the documents, the minutes, the condo documents, bylaws, trusts. Sometimes management companies will charge a couple $100s for that. And then, of course, your real estate professional. You're going to want to hire a real estate professional, and they charge typically between 5 and 6% of the sale price, which is worth every penny because it typically includes professional pictures, experienced marketing, and all of what we've talked about over the last few days with negotiating and dealing with this marketplace. Then, of course, there's ancillary costs, Rob. There's discharge fees, there's overnight charges, wire fees, attorney fees, adjustments for taxes, water, sewer, fuel, condo fees. Everything's paid to date, right? So it's things you would have otherwise paid, but you're paying them right up to the day of closing. And then, of course, the smoke and carbon monoxide inspection. Sellers are required to do that by the state of Massachusetts. You have your local fire department do that. It's typically around $50 or $100. And those ancillary charges, we typically ask people to budget around $5,000 to do that. And then there's deed stamps. People forget about deed stamps all the time. In Massachusetts, every sale is charged $4.56 per $1,000 of the sales price. And that goes to the counties and states for various things. So don't forget about the deed stamps. And then, of course, you want to have your team around you because, the only two constants in this world, Rob, death and taxes, right? So there is potential taxes. There are potential capital gains taxes. Not many people deal with capital gains taxes when it's their primary residence because there is a nice benefit for home ownership. Single people typically have the ability for a gain of $250,000, where a married couple typically have $500,000 in protection. But I read an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning that talked about the fact that some folks have reached more value in the appreciation of their home in 1 year than they did earning money. So the average employee earns $50,000 in America, and the average home appreciated $52,000 in America, Rob. So you want to talk to a CPA. You want to make sure there are no capital gains. If there are capital gains, to deal with those as well. And of course, if it's an investment property, we can talk about 1031 exchanges, and we've done videos on that as well, Rob. But you definitely want to have a team around you, professionals, attorney, real estate professional, accountant, financial advisors, to make sure that you're doing everything that you should be doing. But to really be conservative and be proactive about it, take 10% of the sale price and put that aside. And you're going to be happy, because it won't reach 10%, but it's always a good barometer to put 10% aside for all of the costs associated with dealing with selling your house. And if that was a lot and a mouthful and you didn't write all that down, well, we have a link called proceedscalculator.com. It's found on our website, but if you simply type in proceedscalculator.com, you'll see a little bit of a Styles Law branded calculator. You put in your sale price, you put in your taxes, and it'll calculate about what you should receive at closing.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Check that out. Again, Mark Styles is with us every Friday for our Feel Good Friday segment. And you can always get in touch with Mark as well by checking out the links and the YouTube videos. Styles-law.com is the main website. And people can give you a call as well over at Styles Law, right?
Absolutely. Call us at 781-319-1900. And if you reference Feel Good Friday, we are still offering a 20% discount on all estate planning packages. So get with Ben and his team on that.
All right, good stuff. Enjoy the March Madness. Mark Styles of Styles Law with us. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Rob. Have a great week, everybody.